Hi, welcome to CS50 by Ahmad Said. This is the first video of the course. It is where you start your journey with CS50 and possibly where you start your journey with computer science in general. In this video, we will go through a detailed course introduction and the joining process. It is a very important video, so please focus. Let's get started. The first thing that I would like to discuss with you in this introduction is what is CS50? CS50 is an introduction to computer science and a programming course at Harvard University. It is developed and delivered by Harvard professor David Malin. Now, let me point out that computer science and programming are different. Computer science is the science that is basically solving problems, trying to solve problems using computers. So humans, they have problems, companies, individuals, they have problems, and we can use computers to solve these problems. However, computers cannot solve these problems on their own. These are just machines. They are not like humans. They don't have brains. So we have to program them in order to follow our instructions and solve the problem as per these instructions. This is why we say that computer science and programming are different. Programming, I like to describe it as just one tool of many tools that we have in computer science, but they are not the same thing. So I can say that programming is just one sub part of computer science, actually small part of computer science. In this course, we will be learning computer science in general and programming in specific. Before we move forward, I would like to also give you a little bit of history about the CS50, the meaning of CS50 as a code. Like any other course in any university, all have codes. If you've been to any university before, you've studied some units, all these units, they have codes. They generally have some letters at the beginning and then some numbers at the end. CS obviously stands for computer science, and 50 is just a code, it's just a number for this course at Harvard University. CS50 is delivered at Harvard at many of the Harvard colleges and departments. So Harvard College, John A. Paulson School of Engineering, even Harvard Business School, Harvard Law, and other Harvard Extension, Harvard Summer School, all these Harvard departments and colleges, they do deliver CS50. The code changes depending on which college, depending on which trimester or semester. So this code is not fixed, it's not constant, it's changing continuously. However, the course now, since it is very popular, it is known all around the world as CS50. As I said, if you search for CS50 on different Harvard websites, maybe you will not find it known as CS50. Maybe you'll find it known with another code, but that's okay. So in CS50, we will learn three things, three main things. Number one, we will learn how to think algorithmically and solve problems efficiently. Now, here's the thing. I told you that we are going to study computer science, and computer science is the science that we use to solve problems using computers, correct? Now, how are we going to solve problems using computers if we cannot solve them ourselves? As I said, computers, they don't have brain. They don't have brains. They are not like humans. So we need to teach them what to do. And in order to teach them what to do, we need to know first what to do. So one of the very important things that you will learn in computer science is how you can solve problems yourself. Now, some of you may start thinking, I can already solve problems. Yeah, maybe some of the problems, maybe everyday problems, easy ones. But then I said that we need to solve even more complicated problems like uh, uh, humanitarian problems, problems that are related to one client or one company. And these are not going to be as easy as your everyday problems that you're solving. you will most probably find it challenging to find a solution for each and every of these problems. So this is something that you will need to learn in this course. How can you think algorithmically? And when we say algorithmically, means think in a scientific and organized way so you can solve problems efficiently. And the word efficient means that we need to solve it in a fast way, hopefully, and without wasting lots of resources. So we need to save, while we solve the problem, we need to save on time, and we need to save on effort, we need to save on money, and this is how we solve problems efficiently. So this is something that we will learn in the course. One thing that I want to point out also here is that the word algorithm or algorithmically is different from the word logarithm. These are two different words and they are way different. So algorithm is coming from the name of um, um, a scholar, a Muslim scholar. His name is Al-Khwarizmi, and he was a mathematician. And this is where the name algorithm is coming from. So thinking in a scientific way that is related to this guy, Al-Khwarizmi. This is what we are going to study here. However, there is another word that looks similar, but as I said, it's different in the meaning. It's called logarithm. The logarithm is a mathematical operation. It's like addition, subtraction, multiplication, this kind of stuff. And we will talk about this one later because we will use it later. But these are different, two different things. Algorithm and logarithm are two different things, so don't mix them up. So this is the first thing that we need to learn. The second thing that we need to learn is we need to learn some computer science concepts. Concepts like abstraction, algorithms, memory, data structure, all these, encapsulation, resource management, security, computer security, software security, cybersecurity in general, software engineering, and web programming. All these are general computer science concepts that we need to learn in order for us to be able to deal with computers, these devices, these machines that we hope that we can use to solve our problems. We need to understand how they work, and this is something essential that you will learn in this course as well. Finally, the third thing is programming. And we will, as I told you, computer science and programming are different. Programming or programming languages are just one of the many tools that we use in computer science, and we will learn some of these languages here, like C, Python, SQL, in addition to HTML, CSS. HTML and CSS, they are not programming languages per se, but they are, we can for now call them programming languages. And also we have JavaScript. When you learn how to think algorithmically, how to solve problem efficiency, which is an essential first step, then you'll learn about how computers work and these computer science concepts. Finally, you use these programming languages to communicate with a computer so you can teach and program the computers how to follow the instructions to solve a problem. So these are the main three takeaways of CS50 in the introduction to computer science and programming by Harvard. After this, we will need to discuss CS50x. So here's the thing. CS50, as I said, is the course that Harvard University teaches to its students. Now, we are not Harvard students. Yes, but you can take CS50 still. You will be taking something that's called CS50X, which is pretty similar. It's a little bit different, not exactly the same, but it is similar. So what is CS50X? This is the one that we will be studying. CS50X is an open courseware version of CS50. So it's like an open source. So Harvard, they decided, David and his team, they decided to make the CS50 course available to everyone to study. It is free to take under the name CS50X, and it has an open courseware license. As I said, it's free to take and it changes annually. So every year, every calendar year, the course changes depending on the updates that they are making at Harvard. The course starts with the beginning of the year, the 1st of January of one particular year, let's say, for example, 2021, and it ends with the end of December, the 31st of December 2021. As soon as we start 2022, there will be a new version of the course. Sometimes the differences or the updates are major, sometimes they are minor, it depends. We cannot predict that right now. But as I said, the course is valid for 1 year, 1 calendar year, not academic year, calendar year, from the beginning of January until the end of December. Another thing that I need to point out is that how can I study this course? So CS50X, how can I study CS50X? Mainly, there are two official ways to study CS50X. One of them is the official website, cs50.harvard.edu/x/2021. If you're watching this video in 2022, then you just substitute this with 2022. This video most probably will be valid. If that's not valid, I'm going to remove it from YouTube. So if you are watching this in 2022, most probably whatever I'm saying right now is still valid in 2022 or any other subsequent year. So let's take a quick look at this website here. So the official website for CS50X, as you can see, it's a nice looking website. You can access that using cs50.harvard.edu/x/2021. On the left hand side here, we have the name of the course and we have some links. You can see information about David, information about the final projects that has been created in 2020, what's new, the New Year's seminars, and then the weeks, which is the most important part here. In this course, we will be having 11 weeks. I know that you can see here that this is week 10, so how come they are 11? Maybe you didn't notice that we start counting at 0. And in computer science, we usually start counting at 0. So when we start counting at 0 instead of 1, and we end up with week 10, that means we have 11 weeks. We will talk about this later on. So on the left-hand side here, there is a navigation, and here, this is the main site, and this is the welcome page, and actually, the welcome page has a very nice paragraph that basically says whatever I was saying moments ago in the previous slide. We will come back to this website again. We will have a more detailed tour of the website in just a minute. However, I would like you to understand something important here, which is this website. Look, many students they make the mistake of going to this website, which is cs50.harvard.edu, and then that's it. If you go to this website, you will end up here. Okay, so what is this? This is the website for CS50, not CS50X. And this is the version that is delivered to Harvard students. As you can see, this is for Harvard College, spring 2021. And if you click here also, it will move you to another page or another website that is basically also CS50, but this time it's for Harvard Summer School, not Harvard College, the term summer 2021. So what are these websites? You shouldn't go to these websites. These websites are exclusively for, these are public websites, yes, but they are exclusively for Harvard students who are enrolled at Harvard University. This is not us. Actually, you can see here some of these codes of the courses that I told you. So the codes are sometimes different from this simple CS50 stuff. Anyway, this is not for us. This website is not for us. Even the previous one, the one that has also the red theme or the crimson theme, this is not for us. You shouldn't go to these websites. You will just confuse yourself with no return. We stick to this website that has the one that has the black theme, and it says explicitly here CS50X. This is the one that we will be studying. In just a moment, I will also be discussing with you what are the differences. The differences are minor, really. So I don't want you to feel tempted to study from the red one or the crimson one, maybe thinking that it's better. It's not. They're the same thing, and I will make sure you understand this in just a minute. Okay, so going back to the presentation, this is one way of studying CS50X. So you can go to this website and then study from the website. And as I said, we will be doing a detailed tour in just a minute. Another way to study CS50X is by going to edX. So cs50x.edx.org is another way to study the same course, and it's exactly the same. The only difference is how the course is presented. Both of them are CS50X, but this is presented in one way, this is presented in another way. So I'm not going to go through details here, but again, this is how the edX website looks like. I'm not sure if you are familiar with edX. It's a platform, it's a learning platform. It has lots of free courses from the top universities in the world, including Harvard, MIT, and other universities as well. So you have the option to study the course from here as well. However, I do not prefer that option personally. I believe that this website, because this is the original website, this is where the CS50 team, David and his team, this is where they put everything in, and then they move it to edX. So this is the original. Both of them are official ways to study CS50X, but I prefer this one, so I'm going to stick with this one, and maybe you should do it as well. So what are the differences between CS50 and CS50X? Actually, they are mainly logistical differences. So CS50 and CS50X, they have lectures, sections, shorts, walkthroughs, labs, problem sets, projects, one project actually, quizzes, exam, and a certificate at the end. But how these are different? Lectures are the same. So in CS50X, we have the Harvard lecture recorded and they are uploaded on YouTube. So we have access to them through the OpenCourseWare. So you basically watch the same lectures that were presented to Harvard students. So there are no differences in lectures. Yes, in CS50 students at Harvard, they have direct access to faculty during the lectures, which is something that we don't have access to. We just watch the video. However, again, this is a minor difference. And sometimes, especially after the pandemic, Harvard, they decided to let us, since everything is happening online now, they don't do face-to-face lectures anymore. So they thought maybe we should also invite everyone else, even from outside Harvard, to attend the CS50 lectures. So yes, we don't generally have access to the live lectures, but it is a possibility. They do it one time or a couple times per year. And if you can catch that, you can actually have the same access like Harvard students. When it comes to sections, we don't have sections in CS50X. Sections are smaller groups, so they will divide the cohort at Harvard, the cohort of students, they divide it into smaller groups, and they assign a teaching assistant for each group, so the teaching assistant can help the group progress through the course. We don't have this in CS50X, but again, it doesn't matter. We have the OpenCourseWare. We go through the course at our own pace, and I will talk to you later about how we can have something similar. Those of you who are joining me from my university, from Morduk, they will have this option, like a section thing. Well, we'll talk about this later. We have shorts. So in CS50 and CS50X, we have short videos. These short videos, they complement the lecture, okay? So they sometimes give you more information, more detailed information, some more examples, or sometimes a completely new concept that you need to add to what you have learned in the lecture in order to be able to do the labs and the problem sets. So we have access to shorts as well. Same shorts that are available to CS50, we have them available in CS50X. The same applies to walkthroughs. So walkthroughs are videos that we're going to help you go through labs and problem sets. We will talk about labs and problem sets in just a moment. So walkthroughs are videos that are going to explain to you what is exactly expected from you when it comes to assignments, labs, and problem sets. We have them in CS50X, like students of CS50 have them as well. Then we have labs and problem sets. These are the main weekly assignments that you will need to go through. Labs are simpler than problem sets. So you can think of them like stepping stones. You do the lab, you will get to understand and practice. So you are now more qualified, or you are now ready to do the more challenging problem set. So the labs, you are required to submit the solution for each lab. And we have a lab every week except week 0. Currently, we are in week 0. In week 0, we don't have a lab, but starting from week 1, we will have a lab every week, and you will need to submit the solution to this lab. Each lab, as I said, it does have a walkthrough. There are instructions for how can you go about the lab and what is expected from you, and a video as well. And for the labs, you can take a look at the solution as well, the full solution. So if you get stuck, or if you think that you are not able to finish the lab successfully, you are actually allowed to take a look at the solution video. And the solution video is going to tell you step by step how the staff, how the CS50 team decided to solve this problem. Of course, I don't need to tell you that you shouldn't take a look at the solution unless you exhaust all your options, because this struggle or this challenge that you will go through in order to reach a solution is very important to you. It's an essential part of your learning curve, and it will help you do the problem set. And by the way, the problem set does not have a ready solution. You cannot take a look at the solution in the problem set. Now, since we started talking about the problem set it's called a set because it's a bunch of problems. It's not just one problem. Most of the weeks, we're going to have a problem set that has multiple problems, independent most probably, that you will need to solve through using computers. So in a problem set, you will be presented with a bunch of problems. You will solve them one by one. And again, like the labs, there are instructions, there are walkthrough videos, but there are no solutions to problem sets. You have to finish it on your own. There is no solution provided by Harvard, and you are not allowed to take a look at other solutions online. This is plagiarism, and it's against the academic honesty. We'll talk about the academic honesty in just a minute. So don't do it, okay? Now, what if I get stuck? You can ask, of course, no problem. So you can ask me, you can ask anyone from the many communities that we have for CS50X, and they will be more than happy to help you, but not with a full solution. Maybe if you get stuck somewhere, you can ask someone and they will give you a hint. Or maybe if you're doing a mistake, they will point out what the mistake is and how you can solve it. But no full solutions for problem sets. We have full solutions for labs, but we don't have full solutions for problem sets. One small difference between labs and problem sets is that collaboration is allowed in labs, but it's not allowed in problem sets. So in labs, you feel free to do the lab on your own, or you can collaborate with one or two of your friends. So you can work together on the lab from the start to finish, including the full solution. That's something that's okay with the labs, but it's not okay with the problem set. A problem set, you have to do it all on your own, except, as I said, except if you get stuck and you want to ask someone for help, this is not considered collaboration. It's just asking answering, that's it. Okay, so labs and problem sets we need to do at CS50X like CS50. Also, the project. So project is also common between CS50X and CS50. We need to submit at the end of the course a project, and we will talk about the details of the project later on. When it comes to quizzes, we do not have quizzes in CS50X. So quizzes, these are small exams that happen every week or a couple of weeks or at a midterm at Harvard. We don't have them. We are not required to go through these kind of quizzes in CS50X, which is a good thing. The same applies to the exam. We don't have an exam in CS50X. They do have an exam at CS50 at Harvard, of course, like any other unit that is delivered at a university. At the end of the term, they will need to go through an exam. So CS50 guys at Harvard, CS50 students, they go through the exam, but that's not for us. We don't have to take this exam. So long story short, we at CS50X, we watch the lectures, we watch the shorts and the walkthroughs if you need to go through the walkthroughs. We submit the labs, we submit problem sets, we submit the project, and then that's it, we get the certificate. So that's it, okay? We don't need to attend sections. We do not need to go through quizzes or take the final exam. Now, what about the certificate? I dedicated a specific section for the certificate. In CS50, there's no certificate per se. As I said, it's just one of the units that are delivered at a university. So it's part of a degree, most probably. And students, they finish it, they just get their grades, and then they continue their studies until they earn a degree. If they want a certificate for CS50, they can get a certificate, but again, that's a university. They need to follow the procedure to get a certificate that is specifically for CS50. But for us, we are only studying CS50X, right? We're not studying for a degree at Harvard. So when we finish CS50, we will get a certificate that we have finished CS50, and the certificate is free from Harvard. Okay, actually, that's one option, and you don't need to do anything to get the certificate. Just finish the course, as I said, submit the labs, problem set, and project, and you will get the certificate automatically. You can just go to the CS50 website, and I will show you how to do that in just a minute. And request a certificate. They will ask you about your name, and you can download it right away. That's it, as simple as that. And you can do this in just a moment. However, you have another option, and as you can see, I put here and or, so you can choose this option or this option. You can have them both. The other option is pay for a certificate from EDX. Now, I told you before when we were talking here that you have an option to study the course on EDX, right? This certificate is not related to whether you studied on EDX or not. This is only a certificate. So here, EDX is the course platform where you can study the course. But here we're talking about EDX as a certification buddy. So a certification buddy means that they will take a fee from you, and then they will issue the CS50 certificate for you. Now, I know what you're thinking. Why would I go for an EDX, a paid certificate from EDX, while I can get a free one from Harvard? I'll tell you why. The certificate from Harvard does not have an identity authentication or identity verification, to be more precise. Meaning that when you finish the course, you go to Harvard and you tell them, I want to download my certificate. They will ask you for your name, and whatever name you give them, that's what's going on your certificate. So you tell them you're James Bond, no problem. They will give you a certificate that says James Bond finished the course. That's it. So this may be a problem, or it may diminish the value of the certificate a little bit if you are going to present the certificate for an employer, for example. So your other option is to go for a verified certificate from EDX. Now, when we say verified, it's only about your identity, meaning that If you go to EDX and you say, I finished CS50, I want a certificate, they will ask you for your name, but they are not going to take this name blindly. They are going to ask you for an identity, a verification. They will ask you to take a picture with your passport right next, or your ID card or a driving license next to your face, something like this. So if you claim that you're James Bond, they will say, okay, give us a James Bond passport, so, or a James Bond driving license, which is something that you will not be able to do. So you have to say your real name and provide some documents for that, and they will issue the certificate only with the name that you were able to verify. So that's the only difference. Again, I don't think it's worth it, to be honest, to go for a verified certificate for EDX, but it's definitely an option, and you can go for it if you wish. How much do you need to pay? It depends. I don't really know the amount right now. They keep changing it, and there is a financial aid option, so you can have this fee reduced by up to 90%. So I don't really know right now. We can check it out and see if it's worth it to pay the full amount or reduced amount. It's up to you. But now you know the difference between this certificate and this certificate. Okay, now what do I need to do to get the certificate? Regardless, I'm talking here about the Harvard certificate or the EDX certificate. Both of them are options when you finish the course. But what do I need to do in order to earn either certificates? You need to achieve 70% or more. This is a passing score on each assignment. So when you submit each lab, you need to have a grade that is more than 70%. If the lab is graded out of 10, then you need to at least get 7. If the problem set, for example, is graded out of 8, you need to get at least 6, and so forth. So on each assignment that you are submitting, each individual assignment that you are submitting, you need to achieve 70% or more as a score, as a passing score. And you need to do this before the end of the year. As I told you, the course changes annually, and each version, it expires by the end of the calendar year, by the 31st of December 2021, or whatever the year that you're currently in. Okay, now the question is, what if I was not able to finish everything before the 31st of December? Let's assume that I submitted some weeks, the assignments for some weeks, but I still have 2 or 3 weeks, for example, that I still did not submit the assignments for. Not a problem. Your grades will be carried forward to the following year, but there are lots of rules that are governing this process. And these rules, again, they change every year. It depending on how big the change is between the current version and the following year version. So this is something that I cannot discuss right now, but if this is your case and you are approaching the end of the year, but you still have a lot to submit, then check on the website, and in December, they generally tell everyone what's going to happen to their current submissions and how they are going to be carried forward to the following year. So check back in December, maybe the last couple of weeks of December, to know exactly how this process is going to be. Now it's time to talk about academic honesty. I already talked to you about plagiarism. There is part of the website, the cs50.harvard.edu/x/2021. There is the honesty page, and we will take a look at it in just a minute when we do the tour. So in CS50, as I said, it is a free course, yes, but after all, it's a Harvard University course, and academic honesty is crucial. So the collaboration has rules, copying and pasting from online sources has rules, and this kind of stuff. And as I said, for problem sets, it's definitely not acceptable to get the solution from any source, full solution from any source, and submit that. Now, if we are talking about academic honesty, maybe we should have discussed how the grading is done in the previous point when we were talking about the certificate. We were talking about the 70%. Maybe I should have discussed this with you before we get into academic honesty, but the discussion about academic honesty reminded me of this question that I get a lot. How is the scoring going to happen? How do the Harvard, you're saying that this is a very popular course. We have millions of students around the world who are studying this course. How is the Harvard team grading all these people, all these students? The Harvard team, David and his team, they have bots. So the grading is happening automatically. They have scripts, they have programs that is taking a look at your code and your submission, and then it can decide if it is a correct code, if it's following the instructions or not, and this kind of stuff. So the grading is happening automatically. And if you start thinking that if the grading is happening automatically, meaning that how are they going to catch anyone who's cheating? Actually, the same automatic process is helping them to catch this academic honesty breaches, because the same tool or the same bot or the same program can check online for duplicated answers or copied and pasted answers and this kind of stuff, and it's going to alert David and his team about any breach in academic honesty. So now it's time, I believe, for a quick tour to the website. So let's go to the website one more time, but this time let's see what do we have here. So as I said, we have the welcome page, and in the welcome page here, it's telling you how to take the course. It says here, actually, as I said, the introduction here, this is what we have discussed at the very beginning about CS50 and CS50x. They're the same thing in terms of the academic content. And then how to take the course. As you can see here, you can take it on EDX if you want to have the verified certificate. However, again, let me clarify this here. You don't have to study on EDX to get a verified certificate. You can study here, no problem. Submit your labs and problem sets on the final project, and then just go to EDX for the verified certificate. So when it says, if interested in a verified certificate from EDX, enroll at cs50.edx.org, it doesn't mean that you have to enroll for the whole course. Enroll means that visit this page, just make sure that you are enrolled in the course, so at the end you can generate a certificate for that. But you don't actually have to study on EDX in order to get a verified certificate. You have to pay. Yes, this is what we mentioned, but this is just an option, and I don't see it necessary. There are other courses here. We will talk about these also. Web, AI, and games. We have other courses, more advanced, more specialized courses from CS50, but not CS50X. We'll talk about this at the end of this video. It's also telling you if you would like to study at Harvard, actually you don't have to be a Harvard student in order to study at Harvard. So you can enroll at Harvard Extension School or Harvard Summer School, take this course as a standalone course, and you will be a Harvard student for the duration of the course. In this particular case, you'll pay a fee. It's not cheap, so we're talking about like $2,000 or $3,000 for the course. But for the duration of the course, if you enroll at Harvard Extension School or Summer School, you will be a Harvard student for the duration of the course. If you would like to teach the course, and this is basically me, this course is free and it has a license, and the license allows us to teach the course. Maybe you're wondering, how am I teaching this course? Am I allowed to teach this course? So it seems like I'm using their content to record this video. Am I allowed to do this? Absolutely. So the open courseware license allows anyone to study the course, and it allows anyone to teach the course as well. In addition to the license that is allowing me to teach, I'm also certified by Harvard to teach this course. Harvard, they do conduct workshops for CS50 educators who would like to teach CS50 at their universities or maybe outside universities. And I've gone through this workshop and I got a certificate, and I can teach this course based on that certificate. I can also adopt, and this is what I'm doing. So here it says you're welcome to adopt or adapt. Okay, so I'm actually doing both. So I am adopting the content and adapting. So I am adapting means that I am making some minor changes to the content uh, whenever I see fit. We'll talk about this in just a minute. So this is the welcome page. Here we have the weeks. As I told you, this is the most important part. So let's take a look, for example, at week 1, where we will be studying C, the C programming language. And this is very important. This is, I want you to focus here. So the page starts with a video, and this video is for the lecture. So at some point, you will need to watch this lecture, correct? After, what's really important is what comes after the lecture here. So here, under the lecture, you have the option to download or listen to the audio, just the audio of the lecture, which is, I'm not sure how useful this is going to be. I don't think it is very useful, since most of the lecture you need to be looking at what David's are doing or what I am doing. So just listening without a video, I don't think this is beneficial, but maybe if you would like to play the lectures while you're driving, for example, maybe that's going to be beneficial. What is really important here is the notes. So let's go ahead and open this in a new tab. So here we have the lecture notes. So this is basically the lecture, but it is summarized in text, and this is very useful, very useful. So you can go here, for example, as you can see, we have everything that has been discussed by David in the lecture, even with some screenshots. It has some information, it has some code, everything that was discussed in the lecture summarized in here. If you would like to keep a copy, your own copy from this one, you can just print it. So Control P or print from Google Chrome, and you can save this as a PDF, okay, on your computer, or you can actually print it to actual paper printer. But I suggest that you just save it as a PDF. Make sure that you, at least this is how I like to do it, uncheck headers and footers so you don't get these unnecessary lines at the top and the bottom of the page. It's just links and the date and this kind of stuff. I don't think that's going to be useful. Just uncheck headers and footers, keep the background graphics, and then click save, and it will save a copy. I'm not going to do that now, but it's going to save a copy, a PDF copy of the lecture notes on your computer for that particular week, for this particular lecture here. So this is one very important resource that you can actually download or take a look at the lecture notes. After that, we have slides. Again, I don't think that slides are very useful to you as a student, but it's an option. If you'd like to take a look at the slides or you download the slides, you have the option to download them as Google Slides, so you can open them in PowerPoint, for example, or any other presentation software. Or you can download it as a PDF, so you can open it using Adobe Reader. After that, we have the source code. That's the second important resource that I want you to know about. So the first one was the notes. This is very important. The second one is a source code. David and myself, when we're teaching CS50, we use some codes, right? So if it's C, it's a C code and this kind of stuff. So can you get a copy of this code? Absolutely. So you have 3 different sources. All of them are identical, just the way that we present the code. So you can have the index. So this is, if you take a look here. So this is the index, for example, as you can see here, lecture 1, source 1. You can download any of these codes. So we have these C codes. So if I open this one, for example, here. So here's the code. You can take a look at it. You can copy it, paste it, save it, whatever you want. You can download this individual file from here using this download link, and that's it. So this is one way of getting access to the code. Another way of getting access to the code is that you can get it in a PDF format. So not individual files like we saw moments ago. No, it's just a PDF file, and each page of the PDF, it does have the code. And this one looks a little bit more presentable. It has this color coding, and when the time comes, you will see where are these colors coming from when we go into week number 1. So this is, for example, a 19-page PDF file that has all the codes that we just saw moments ago from the index. So that's another way to get access to the codes. The third and the last way is to download them as a zip file. So basically you download everything from the index, but in just one folder, one file, zip file that you can extract. It will give you a folder, and then inside that folder you're going to have all the codes, each one in a separate file, each code, each program in a separate file. And this is what my preferred method actually. So I don't just download the zip file. I'm not going to do that right now, but you can do it on your computer. So I download the zip file, and then I have all the codes for that particular week on my computer. I can open whatever I want. I can print whatever I want. I can copy and paste. I can do whatever I want. Now, copying and pasting, since I was talking earlier about academic honesty, can I copy and paste? Can I use this code? Absolutely. This is not a lab. This is not a problem set. These are the codes that we use to teach you. So by all means, if you would like to use these codes, copy and paste them, use them, try them, change them. Feel free to do whatever you want to do with these codes. These are open source codes. You can use them as you wish within the CS50 course, of course. Okay. After that, we have subtitles and transcripts. Okay. Now, subtitles and transcripts are two of the resources that maybe you will never use. Okay, which is something similar to the audio file. Maybe you will never use the audio file for the lecture. And that's the case also for subtitles and transcripts. So subtitles and transcripts are basically the same thing. These are everything that David said written in text, and it's different from the notes. The notes are summarization. It's just like a student who's taking notes during the lecture. Subtitles and transcripts, they are letter by letter. They are literally every word that David said in the lecture from start to finish, both of them. The difference is that subtitles are divided by time, transcripts is not divided by time. So this is the subtitle. It's very similar to, it is almost exactly the same as the ones that you see on movies. So these are the subtitles, and as you can see here, they have the timestamp for each sentence or for each word that David said. And the same exact content here is in the transcript, but without the timestamps. Now, what would be a scenario where this is useful? I can think of only one thing. Maybe you remember that David mentioned something, or he said a word, or some kind of a definition, and you remember the definition, but you don't remember the context, or you don't remember when did he mention that exactly. So you want to go to that particular point in time, but you don't know when did this happen. So what you can do is that you can open the transcript, something like this, or you can much better open the subtitle since it has a timestamp, and then start searching for the word that you're looking for. For example, memory. So, okay, let me see. So David said he mentioned the word memory at the minute 8 and 12 seconds. Okay, and he mentioned it, it seems like 13 times during the lecture, and I can keep scrolling until I find what I'm looking for. And if you get to know the exact minute, you can go back to the video and you can replay this part, and you will remember what you have forgotten. That's one maybe scenario where this transcript or the subtitle may be useful. After that, we have the video for the lecture, and you can watch the video in many ways. One of them is the CS50 video player, which is this one. As you can see here, this is the CS50 video player. Now, this is brilliant. The CS50 video player, it has a feature, a very, very nice feature. And this feature is right here. It says here, you can see screen, and there is this toggle button where I can click here, and it seems like I'm going to activate something that's called screen. So what is a screen? Look, if you watch this video on YouTube, which is an option, if you go here, you have the option to watch on CS50 video player or YouTube. If you watch the video on YouTube, you will be watching the video that was created by the director of CS50. So they have a director, and he has multiple cameras and everything, and the director decides what are you going to see. Are you going to be watching David or the screen? Is it a close-up capture or from far away? So is that good? Yeah, it is good. It is actually, they have a very good director. However, sometimes I, as a student, would love to take a look at the screen because David is doing something and he's doing it on his screen, but I cannot see the screen at this particular moment because the director decided that he should show me David's face, right? So if you are watching on the CS50 video player, you have this awesome feature that will allow you to toggle to screen, and you will see the screen instead of the director choice of picture. So you can, if the picture is currently showing like here, so actually I'm going to take this snapshot from the video here. So here we can see David, okay? We love David, of course, no problem. We don't have any problems with David, right? But it seems like David, just before he left the computer, he was doing something. You see this in the background here, and it's a little bit blurry. And maybe at this point in time when he's speaking, you need to see what is happening on his screen. But yeah, if you are watching on YouTube, you will not be able to do that because you just see whatever the director wants you to see. However, if you're using the CS50 video player, you can toggle the screen and it will just give you whatever on his screen at this moment in full screen. It's an awesome feature. I would love for you to try it at some point. So these are the two options, and we have the third option as well, which is using an MP4 to download the file itself. And you have several quality here. So you have the low quality 360p all the way until the 4K. Again, I have my own preferences here. I don't think a 4K is worth it. Okay, even if you do have a 4K screen, why do you need to? It's not like a movie or something. So 4K is not okay. Feel free to use it if you wish, but I don't think it is useful. And 360 is a very low quality, because I was talking moments ago about the need to take a look at the screen, right? So if you want to see what's happening on the screen, you will need a good resolution. And 360, it's not enough. So most probably, if you try to see what exactly David is typing at a 360 resolution, it's not going to be good. So the minimum that I recommend is 720, or even better, the 1080, okay? So 1080 is my preferred. It's going to give me a very good resolution when it comes to screens and small details and this kind of stuff. And at the same time, it's not as big of a file as the 4K that I don't necessarily need. Okay, so this was all, these were all the resources that we have related to the lecture. After that, you can take a look at the lab. But before we take a look at the lab, I suggest that you go through the shorts. You remember when we mentioned shorts? So here are the links. Each one of them is going to open a separate page, and on this page there will be a video. Then you watch that video. So you finish the lecture, then watch the videos, then you do the lab, then you do the problem set. So let's take a look very quickly at how a lab page looks like. So this is lab number 1. As you can see, seems very simple here, but this lab is actually divided into 3 steps. Okay, so you need to go to the CS50 IDE. We'll talk about this in a minute. And then there are 2 problems to solve. One of them is called hello, the other one is called population. So you'll open the page for each one of them. I'm just going to open population, and then it's going to give you, as you can see, instructions on how you can solve this lab. And here's the walkthrough that we were talking about. And here's Brian taking you through some advice that that we think is useful for you to go through the lab. So we have some hints. Here, how to test your code. Okay, and if you're not sure how to solve, here's a solution. So you open this, and this is another walkthrough video, but this time it's a full solution video. It's going to tell you everything you need in order to submit this one. Now, maybe one question that I didn't answer before is that if the solution is available, why do I need to submit the lab? Actually, that's a good question. You need to submit the lab because, as I told you, the lab is a stepping stone towards the problem set. So we need to make sure that you can actually do the lab. Even if you did the lab through the solution, but still, we need to make sure that you understand the lab and you understand the solution, whether it is your own pure solution or you used the solution walkthrough. But we need to make sure that you actually understand the lab and its solution before we take you through the problem set, because in the problem set there will be no solution. Okay, so this was an example from the lab. This is another example from the problem set, which is pretty much the same. The only difference is that the problem set, as I said, no collaboration is allowed. You have to do it all by yourself. There's no solution for you, so you have to figure out it on your own again. And the problem set is more advanced than the lab. It's more challenging. It's more complicated than the lab. That's the only difference. And later on also we will be talking about these less comfortable, more comfortable options, but when the time comes, not today. Okay, so that's pretty much it. And this is where you're going to spend most of your time every week. So for each week, you will go to this page and you will use all these resources and then submit the lab, submit the problem set in this case. Okay, going down here to in the navigation, you are going to find 2 lectures here. One of them is called security. The other one is called artificial intelligence. These are optional lectures, completely optional, very useful, but they're completely optional. They're not part of the CS50x course, and they don't require you to submit anything. So feel free. You want to watch them, okay. You don't want to watch them, you want to skip on them, no problem. Here's the page for the final project. When the time comes, we will open this page. We'll see what we have here. Here's the page for academic honesty. This is what I told you about. So in here, you're going to find the philosophy of Harvard University regarding academic honesty. This is very important. So here there's a video. If you want to take a look at the video, David is talking about how to teach academic honesty in CS50 and why is it important. So make sure to take a look at this video. And here is the policy: what's reasonable, what's not reasonable, what is allowed, what's not allowed, what is considered a breach to academic honesty and what's not. And also they have something here interesting. It's called the regret clause. If you intentionally or unintentionally breached academic honesty and then you regret that before they catch you, there is this regret clause where you can go, you can tell them, you can avoid any penalties, or it depends on how big the breach was. But you can, before they discover it on their own, you can go to them and you can say, I made a mistake, and they will understand, and that's it. So this was the academic honesty page. Also, in here we have the CS50 certificate, and you can go here, take a look at your certificate. Okay, it's going to look something like this. Okay, as you can see, this is the free one. I'm talking here about the free one from Harvard. If you would like to opt for the verified certificate from EDX, you need to go to the EDX website. No need to discuss that right now. Again, when the time comes, if you have a question about it, feel free to ask and I will be more than happy to help you out. So here's the certificate. As you can see, it's going to have your name, the name of the course, signature of David, and most importantly, the verification QR code and the verification link. Yes, I said that the identity itself is not verified, but the certificate is verified. Meaning, you tell them a name, they will just put whatever name you provided. So you say that I'm James Bond, no problem. They will give you a certificate that says James Bond finished CS50. Now, they didn't verify your identity, but the certificate itself is authentic, right? Meaning that it's not forged. If you take the certificate to an employer, okay, the employer will be able to verify that this certificate indeed exists with this QR code or the verification link. So you finished the course. My name is Ahmad Said. So I finished the course. I went over there. I wanted my certificate. I told them I'm Ahmad Said. They give me a certificate with a QR code. I can give that to my employer or prospect employer. And if he scans the QR code, he will actually get a copy of that exact same certificate from the Harvard servers. So this proves that I actually earned this certificate. It's not forged, it's not photoshopped, and these kind of stuff. Okay, so again, we will talk about the certificate in detail. So you can go to this link and you can get your certificate when you finish. We'll talk about this in detail at the end, towards the end of the course. So that was the part about the certificate here. We also have the facts, frequently asked questions. So this is a very useful page as well, where you get to, I actually answered most of the questions that we have here because they are indeed very frequent, but feel free to go through them really quickly, understand what are the facts about CS50X, okay? After that, we have the gradebook. So the gradebook, currently I don't have a gradebook because if I try to open the gradebook now, I'm not even inside the course. So it will ask me to log in with GitHub. This is something that we will talk about in just a minute. I don't even have a GitHub account. And even if I do, but I still not part of CS50, this is just useless. So we'll talk about the gradebook later on. Staff, so if you want to know who is the staff for CS50, CS50X, you go to this page. We have David and Brian and the other team members, including Karim Zidane. Karim Zidane is a very, he's an Egyptian, and he is a very good example of what CS50 can do to you or do for you. So Karim Zidane, he was just a normal CS50 student, CS50X student in his hometown in Egypt. And since he was a very good student and he was collaborating and he was helping the community and everything, Harvard chose to hire him to be part of the development team. So he's not doing teaching, he's just doing the development work, which is the whole CS50 course is built on, like CS50 IDE and other platforms and this kind of stuff. So feel free to go to this page if you'd like to connect with any one of these lovely people here. Okay, finally, in this part here, we go to the syllabus. So in the syllabus, we have the introduction, again, one more time, the introduction that we had at the very beginning of this video, and then the expectations. Now, I told you, for CS50X, the only thing that we need to do, we don't have exams, we don't have quizzes or this kind of stuff. We need to submit 10 problem sets, 10 labs, and a final project. Now, you may start wondering that, okay, we have 11 weeks. Why do we need to only submit 10 and each one of them has assignments? So why do we need to submit only 10 problem sets and 10 labs? I'll tell you why. Week 0 does not have a lab. It only has a problem set. And week 10 does not have the problem set, but it does have the lab. So it's the opposite. So this is why we have 10 problem sets. That's basically from week 0 all the way until week 9. And we have 10 labs starting from week 1 all the way until week 10. And of course, that is in addition to the final project. Again, talking about the certificate, I've already covered most, at least 70%. This is the one on each problem you submit. This is the very important part that we covered moments ago in my presentation. Here, there is an additional piece of information about how the grading is actually determined. So I told you it's electronic. They have a script. They have this program that is examining the code, making sure it's correct and this kind of stuff. But it's not all about correctness. So 3/4 of the mark is about how correct your solution is, and 1/4 is about the style of the solution. And style is very important. It may seem at first that why is the style, why am I getting graded based on the style of my code? Yes, I understand, but later you will understand that style is very important in programming. So the way you style your code is crucial, and this is why it's part of the assessment. It's part of your marks. So 3/4 of your mark is dedicated to how correct your solution is, and 1/4 is dedicated to the style. So if, for example, we have a problem set that is graded out of 8, okay, 6 marks for correctness, 2 marks for the style. Okay, awesome. Here are some recommended books recommended by Harvard, but they're not required, and I don't think you will need them, at least not at this stage. Don't add any unnecessary burden on your shoulders. So these are just recommendations. Feel free, if you have some time, you want to skim through these books, okay. If not, no problem. Don't worry about these books at all. Again, this is what we've mentioned before. Lectures, you attend the lectures for each week and the shorts. Then walkthroughs. Actually, walkthroughs are optional. Some students, they decide, you know what? No, I don't need walkthroughs. I will do it on my own. Okay. Walkthroughs for problem sets, they just give you some important hints. Not a solution, not a full solution. As I told you, we don't have full solutions for problem sets, but sometimes they give some very useful hints. So yeah, okay, you don't want to go through the walkthroughs? No problem, be my guest. Actually, this is a very good challenge, but we generally recommend that you go through the walkthroughs. Labs are mandatory, problem sets are mandatory, and the final project is also mandatory, as I mentioned before. And once again, you will see that they will emphasize on academic honesty. This is not the academic honesty page, but they added information about academic honesty again here, including what's reasonable, what's not reasonable, so you can have a very good understanding of what expected and not expected from you. So that's pretty much it in here. After that, it's just a bunch of resources, like ed discussions, if you want to, for Q&A, you want to ask questions, this kind of stuff. The EDX link that we've already taken a look at, the YouTube channel, and some other resources that we will take a look at them when the time comes, because some of them are related to specific weeks, like for example here, HTML, Python, when we go through Python and this kind of stuff, and SQL. After that, we have a couple links. One of them is for a changelog. I told you that the course changes annually. So at the end of each year, they change the course, they update the course based on the latest that they had at Harvard. So they update CS50x based on the latest that they had for CS50. But this happens at the end of the year. However, throughout the year, sometimes they make very minor changes. They correct mistakes or something that is vague. They make it a little bit more obvious. So if they made any changes throughout the year, they will include these changes in the change log here. So if you open the change log, okay, it will tell you some of the changes that they made. So they upgraded, for example, to a newer version. They added the rubber duck stuff. So they will tell you when and what have happened. So these kind of changes. Not all the changes are included in the change log, so this is why I don't see it very useful. And most probably, you will not be concerned about these changes, so I don't think that you will need to visit this link. But again, it's here for you if you need it. What is more important than the change log is the status page, and the status page is telling you the status of the different platforms that we use in CS50. Most of the CS50 tools are hosted on the cloud, including the main tool that we will be using, that is the CS50 IDE. So sometimes the students, they open one of these tools like the CS50 IDE and it's not working, and they start asking questions. They start doubting themselves and say, what am I doing wrong? Or why is it not opening? Or why is it not responding? Sometimes, actually most of the time, this service may be down for some reason. Sometimes it's schedule maintenance, sometimes it's just an issue with a cloud server and they are fixing it. Again, most of the time this is going to be solved very quickly, but it is a good idea to take a look at the status page. If you have a problem, take a look at the status page first. See what is the status of the platform. Maybe the platform itself is down, and then it's not your fault. Just take a break for a couple of hours, come back, and then it will be working again. So the status page can be useful this way. If, on the other hand, you find that everything is working fine, but it's not working for you, then maybe you can start asking questions, and we will be more than happy, the community will be more than happy to help you if you've done something wrong, or they can give you a piece of advice. Okay, so that's it here. Again, after that, the only thing that is left is a bunch of communities, too many communities on Clubhouse, Discord, we have a Facebook group, we have a Facebook page, we have a GitHub account for CS50. There is also Getter, Instagram, LinkedIn, Medium, Quora, Reddit, Slack, Snapchat, SoundCloud, Stack Exchange, Twitter, and of course the YouTube. So it's a very large community. Maybe the most popular one here is the Facebook group that allows Q&A, and it has millions of people who will be more than happy to help you out. So these are the communities that we have for CS50. Finally, at the very end here, we have the license. As I told you, this is a free course. It has a license. So you can study for free, teach for free, make some changes. And this license has its own rules or policies. So feel free to take a look at the license later on. So this was a quick tour of the CS50 official website, where you're going to spend most of your time. So I would say 90% of your time studying CS50, you will be spending it here. Of course, there is also the CS50 IDE. So you will be dividing 90% of your time between this and the CS50 IDE, but this is where you're going to spend most of your time. So I hope now that you're familiar with this website. Okay, so let's get back to our presentation. And now it's time for us to talk about CS50 by Ahmad Said. Now, what's that? At the very beginning, I was talking about CS50, right? Then I told you that, you know what? We are not actually studying CS50 because that's exclusive to Harvard University students. We will be studying CS50x, which is almost the same. It's a free version of CS50. Now, I need to tell you that we are actually not studying CS50x and not, of course, CS50. We are studying CS50 by Ahmad Said. So what is CS50 by Ahmad Said? CS50 by Ahmad Said is a course that is based on CS50X. Again, almost exactly the same. So as I told you, CS50 and CS50X are almost the same. CS50 by Ahmad Said, again, is almost the same. So here's what I'm doing. Here's why I call this CS50 by Ahmad Said. I try to take CS50X and expand it so it is as close as possible to CS50. In CS50, there are some minor academic advantages to Harvard students, and there are some minor logistical advantages to Harvard students as well. So in CS50 by Ahmed Said, I'm trying to give you as much as I can, as many as I can of these advantages. So we are not at CS50X, but we are at a better level, as close as possible to CS50. So CS50 by Ahmed Said is delivered in two versions. One of them is the Arabic version, and the other one is the English version. This is the English version is the version that you are attending right now. So I have these two versions. The curriculum is exactly the same, which is based on CS50X. The only difference is that here I speak English, in the Arabic version I speak Arabic. That's it. It's exactly the same content. The only difference is the language of the delivery. Um, it is also important to note that even the presentation is in English, even in the Arabic version. So it's only the language that I use to speak is different. The content is the same, the presentation is the same, everything is the same. In Arabic, I just speak Arabic. That's it. Okay? So there's no advantage in attending the Arabic version unless you are an Arabic speaking person and you just don't want to bother listening to the English delivery and exhaust your brain with the translation thing. So that's it. Now, I was talking about some minor academic differences. So in CS50 by Ahmed Sayed, I expand and I give more details to the lectures that we have on CS50X website. So for example, if the lecture from David is 2.5 hours, my lecture is going to be most probably 4 hours. The reason that I use this extra 1.5 hours is that number one, I incorporate the shorts inside the lecture. So I prefer if the lecture and the shorts are the same thing. And this is what I did in CS50 by Ahmed Said. In CS50 by Ahmed Said, we don't have shorts. Shorts and the lecture are commingled together. They are mixed together in one big lecture. Most probably the lecture is going to be divided into two videos. So that's number one. Number two, some of the concepts that are covered in the lecture or the shorts, they are covered like quickly, I believe, and I think more information is needed. So I explain that part in details. I give maybe an extra 2 or 3 examples that I think is going to make the idea much easier to grasp. So this is the academic advantage, if I may say, or let's just call it academic difference between CS50 by Ahmed Said and CS50X. So CS50 by Ahmed Said has more in terms of the academic knowledge, trying to make things easier for you. And also, when it comes to the labs and problem sets, my walkthroughs are longer. Again, I try to give you as much information as possible without giving any solutions, as I said. So so this is the academic difference that I have in CS50 by Ahmed Said, trying to give you more than what we have in CS50X, as close as possible from CS50, because if you are a Harvard University student, you will have David, you will have the team who's working with David. You can ask them questions, they can explain to you. But since we don't have this in CS50X, I tried to compensate for this in my videos by adding more information. And this information that I add, I actually know it is necessary from my past CS50 students. So I've been teaching CS50 for quite some time right now. And I know where students generally struggle, and this is where I started adding more to my videos because I get these frequently asked questions. So, okay, it seems like this part needs more, so I give it more time. Also, I was talking about some logistical differences. In CS50 by Ahmad Said, you have the option to attend live lectures with me. Now, when you follow the group or you follow my page on Facebook, you will get to know when are these sessions happening, and you have the option to join me and attend the live lecture, ask live, and I will be more than happy to answer you during the online sessions that we're going to have. Again, in an attempt to have CS50X as close as possible to CS50 under what is called CS50 by Ahmad Said. Okay. Now the very important question that I get at this point in time is, okay, so we will be studying CS50 by Ahmad Said with you. Do we still need to watch David's lectures? The answer is no. So that's the whole point, right? So if I'm creating CS50 by Ahmad Said, the whole point here is that you don't really need to watch the lecture by David or the shorts. However, if you decide to watch them, that's actually a very good advantage. After all, the lecture by David is the original lecture, okay? And he is a brilliant professor. So maybe if you have time, watch my lecture and watch a lecture from David, so you'll get the same concept delivered in two different ways, and that can open your mind and stimulate your imagination. Okay, now what happens after CS50? So how is my life going to look after CS50? You will need to go through more advanced or more specialized courses. We have options at CS50. So we have CS50W, CS50 Web, we call it. We have CS50 AI, Artificial Intelligence. We have CS50G, or Games, and we have CS50 Mobile Development. So if you want to work as a web developer, go for the web. AI, using Python, go through CS50 AI. You are into games and game development, go through CS50 Games. Or you want to work with mobile development, iOS apps, Android apps, this kind of stuff, you can go through the CS50 mobile course. However, the CS50 mobile course in particular is not updated. Now, it's not up to date. You can still take an older version, but they're not keeping it up to date. Unlike web, AI, and games, these are updated like CS50X. But you do this after you finish CS50X. So get the basics, go through the introduction, CS50X or CS50 by Ahmad Said, they are the same. So now you understand the differences. I'm going to just use the word interchangeably, right? So CS50 is the same as CS50X, and same as CS50 by Ahmad Said, right? So after CS50, our CS50, CS50X, you can go through any of the CS50 advanced or specialized courses if you wish. If you don't want to go with CS50, of course, by all means, you can seek other non-CS50 courses, whether from Harvard or other universities. We have EDX, the platform. We have Coursera. We have many platforms. We have courses from MIT, open courseware from MIT, open courseware from Stanford, and many universities around the world. And other vendors. We have courses also from Microsoft. We have courses from IBM. We have courses from Google. So I'm sure that you will find whatever you need out there. So feel free to go with more advanced or more specialized courses after CS50X. What about before CS50? So this may seem a little bit weird. Okay, it seems like we're moving forward, and now you want to take us back to before CS50. Not necessarily. This is why I added the or after. So before or after CS50 optionally. So we have some, I would say, simpler CS50 courses, like the CS50 Introduction to Technology, for example. This is a very simple Introduction to Technology course, way simpler than CS50X, you can actually finish this one in just one setting. So you can, one day, you can finish the whole course. You can take this one, of course, you can take it after CS50. It's fun. I've been working in CS50, I've been working in computer science for the past 15 years, and I actually enjoyed the course. So it is a fun, short, like small course that you can take after CS50. However, if you think like you need some, if you're if like brand new in technology and you think that jumping right into CS50X is a little bit of a leap, why don't you just start with CS50 Introduction to Technology? As I said, it's just one day or a couple of days. You finish it, and then you will get things going, and then you go to CS50X. But again, as I said, this is optional. The vast majority of students, they just go into CS50X right now, right away, without knowing even that there's something that exists that called CS50 Introduction to Technology. We also have CS50 for business professionals. We have CS50 for lawyers, and if you need any other course before CS50, also I'm also giving the option to go for non-CS50 courses like I did here, because I don't want you to be bound to the CS50 ecosystem. So feel free to mix and match. Take this from CS50, this one from CS50, this one from Stanford, this one from MIT. Regardless if it's less advanced, more advanced, it's completely up to you. Okay, now to the most important part of this video, which is the requirements. What are the requirements that we need in order to work with CS50? The first thing that you will need is a fast and reliable computer and internet connection, and you will need to have Google Chrome. You need to use Google Chrome on that computer, especially when it comes to CS50 IDE. As I told you, CS50 IDE is a platform that we will be using to write code and this kind of stuff. We'll talk about it later, not today, when the time comes. So you'll be spending most of your time working on the CS50 IDE. And CS50 IDE is compatible with Google Chrome. If you use other browser, we cannot guarantee the results. Now, the question that I get asked again very frequently, and this is the main reason I actually created this video, to answer as many frequently asked questions as possible, is that, can I do CS50 on my mobile phone or on a tablet? Answer is no. Okay, short answer is no. Long answer is that, yeah, maybe it's possible, but it's going to be a headache. It's going to be painful. A lot of compatibility issues. Some stuff is it's not going to work, because, as I said, it's designed to work in Google Chrome, the PC version or the Mac version, the computer version of Google Chrome. A mobile version of Google Chrome, no. So, is it doable? Yes. Is it recommended? Absolutely not. So you need to have a computer with internet, and then you will be okay. Now, what about internet? You know, the whole course is online, right? So you need to watch the videos. You will need to submit the labs and the problem set and this kind of stuff. Everything is online, so you need to have an active, reliable, fast internet connection. Now, if internet connection is a problem, then you can do something. You can download the lectures, shorts, and these kind of stuff. You can download as much as you can, and then study offline. But again, when the time comes for submission, you will need to submit online at some point. So you cannot do this course completely offline. You will have to be connected to the internet, at least when it comes to downloading, at least when it comes to submitting. So yeah, you need an internet connection as well. Good one. Okay, so what else do I need? You will need a Scratch account. So what is a Scratch? A Scratch is a platform, it's a programming platform using the GUI. So you don't write code, it's a learning platform created by MIT, Massachusetts Institute of Technology, one of the very good, actually one of the best universities around the world when it comes to technology. So they created this platform that's called Scratch, And this is what we will be discussing this week 0. We will be working with this platform, Scratch, to create our very first program using puzzle pieces, drag and drop stuff, GUI stuff. So you need an account for that. So let me go ahead and help you out with this account. So you're going to follow the link. You see, I had the link here for you, scratch.mit.edu/join. This is going to take you here, and then you start creating your account like any other account. So in here, I'm going to AECS50 test 4. Here I'm going to put a password. So AE. Okay, I'm going to retype the password one more time. Okay, now it comes to the country. You input your current country. I'll put UAE because I am in the UAE. Now, the month and the year you were born. Gender, email. It has to be an active email, of course. So AECS50. I've just created an email just for this purpose, so I can show you the whole process. So you will put here your email address, your active email address, and then you create your account from here. Now this is happening because I am incognito. Most probably you will not have to do this verification thing. So bicycle here, bicycle here as well. Okay. So let's hope, yeah, it accepted me. Thank you very much. Get started. However, as soon as you get started, don't forget to verify your account. We're not going to discuss this platform right now. We're going to discuss it later this week when we go through Scratch and work with Scratch and this kind of stuff. Not now, not during the introduction. In the introduction, I just all I need you to do is to create an account. However, make sure that this account is actually verified. So they will send you the verification link from Scratch. I hope that I actually put the email correct. I have a feeling that I did not put the email correctly. Let me AECS50 test4@gmail.com. Actually, it is correct. So maybe there is a delay here. We will wait for it. So they will send you a verification email to your email account. Make sure that you click the verification link. Okay, what else? We also need a GitHub account. So what is GitHub? GitHub is a collaboration platform for programmers. Programmers all around the world, they collaborate together when it comes to code and development and this kind of stuff on GitHub. It's a platform where we can store our code, share our code, collaborate with each other, teach each other, and this kind of stuff. So you will need a GitHub account because this is how you are going to share your code with the CS50 team, David and his team, and the software that they have created for grading. So when you submit the labs and the problem set, you will submit to GitHub. You will upload to GitHub, and this is where the grading is happening. Now, here's the thing, something that I want to clarify here. When you create the account, they will not have access to your account. You will just create an account if you don't have already, and they will only get access to a specific folder, a designated folder for your submissions. That's it. So your account will be safe. No one will be able to have access to your account. The CS50 team will only have access to that particular folder. If you decide to give me access as well, I will tell you how to do that in just a minute. I will also have access to the same folder, and this may be useful if you want my help with something, or if you submitted a problem set and you don't really know what went wrong with the grade. Why am I getting 6 out of 10? And I need to take a look at the code. Maybe it's a good idea to also give me access to the same folder. I have access to the same tool that they're using for grading, I told you before, I'm certified by Harvard to teach the course. So I have access to all the tools that they use for teaching themselves. So I can have the same access if you grant me access, and I can take a look at your submissions and your grades and these kind of stuff. So if you don't have an account on GitHub, we will need to create an account for you. So let's do that. So in here, this is the link that I mentioned here. So github.com join. Now I'll be creating an account. This is just a demo account. You will do the same, create an account for yourself. Once again, if you don't already have an account on GitHub. So username AECS50 test 4. Okay, that's a good username. AECS50 test 4 at gmail.com, and then choose a password. I will do okay, awesome. Then you click verify here. It's going to take you through the verification. Here's the Spiral Galaxy. No, I actually clicked wrong, I believe. So let's re-verify this. Spiral Galaxy again. Yeah, we're good to go. So create account. Now our account is created. Once again, you will receive a verification link on your email. Okay. Same for Scratch as for GitHub, as for EDX. Let's do the EDX because I'm going to ask you to do an EDX account. Now here's the thing. Regarding the EDX account, is this optional? No, this is mandatory. So I say here requirements. All of these are mandatory requirements. Now the question is, what if I do not want to study this course on EDX? I actually want to follow your advice, and you said don't study on EDX, just to study on the official or the original website. EDX is also official, but the original one, the course website. Do I still need to create an EDX account? Yes, you do. Even if you're not going to study on EDX, even if you're not going to get the paid certificate or the EDX certificate, you still need to have an EDX account. Why? Because the Harvard system uses the EDX authentication. So everything they will be doing on the system will be authenticated through the EDX authentication mechanism. I know it may seem weird, but this is how they decided to design the system, and you need to have an EDX account. It's not optional, okay? It's mandatory. So let's go ahead and do that. So here's the link, registering, full name. So I'm going to do AECS50 test 4. Then public username, AECS50 test 4. Then email, which is basically the same thing. So because I'm lazy, I'm going to just do that. Then the password, okay. And let's do that one more time here. Actually, no need for one more time. This is just the country. And then that's it, create account. And voila, that's it. So now we have created an account for Scratch, mandatory, account for GitHub, also mandatory, and account for EDX, which is also mandatory, okay? Now, if you take a look here, you will find that we have the GitHub verification, okay? Make sure that you verify that. Okay, now I did that successfully. Okay, and we have here the EDX verification, action required. So I will verify that as well. And I am supposed to get another email from Scratch. I don't know why I still did not receive that, but whenever you receive the verification email from Scratch, also make sure that you activate and verify your account by clicking the link in the email that you're going to receive. If you do not verify the account may not work well. And as I said, the 3 accounts are mandatory for CS50. Okay. Okay, what else do you need to do? You need to join join CS50x officially. Okay, now all that you've done here is you're creating accounts on other platforms, but now you need to join CS50x, and you need to tell the CS50 system, the CS50 team, that you are now a CS50 student. How can you do that? There is a link. The link is long. I know that you will not be copying it from here, so I'll put it in the description. In the description of this video, I will provide all the links that you need. And even I know I can see myself now, like I have my head obstructing the view, but don't worry. The link is in the description. This link is actually hidden on, it's a little, not hidden, but it's, if we take a look at the here, so here's week 1. I don't want week 1, I want week 0. So where is this link exactly on the website? If you go into week 0, you go to problem set 0, and then it's going to say submit this problem on Scratch. So when you are about to submit your first problem, they will ask you, the Harvard team is going to ask you at the very end here to visit this link, log in with GitHub account, and then click authorize CS50. This is basically check the box indicating that you would like to grant course staff access to submission. You remember I told you that you have created a GitHub account, but now you need to give them access. And this access is basically officially joining the course. As soon as you give them the access, now you are a CS50 student. How can I give them the access? Just click this link, which is the one that I had in the slides. So when you click this link from here, or you get it from the description of the video, it will take you to this page if, and only if, you have a GitHub account and you are signed in to your GitHub account. If you don't have a GitHub account, it will ask you to create one, but we already did that. If you are not signed in your GitHub account, it will ask you to sign in, but we already did that. So now it's asking you to do the authorization. Click on Authorize CS50. So this will create a designated folder, what we call a repository on your GitHub account, and they will get access. Now I am confirming that you see you are invited to CS50x 2021. Yes, I am invited. Thank you very much. And I authorize that I will authorize teachers, grant the teachers of this course access to submit my submissions. Okay, so this is the final step that you will need to do. And if you do that, everything now, as you can see, it says no submissions. Yeah, I know that because this is brand new account. I just joined the course. But then later on, you are going to see your submissions here, and then you can access your grade book and this kind of stuff. If we now go and try to access the grade book, let me try that with you. Grade book before did not open, if you remember. It was giving us this GitHub page and it was not knowing what to do. But now, if you go to the grade book from here, it will open. It will ask you to authorize. Sometimes it will ask you to authorize several times, which is okay. As long as you have all the accounts, and this is why I asked you to create all the accounts at the very beginning. Now it will open the grade book for you, as you can see. So this is the grade book. It says here that your account is still not yet linked with EDX. We already have the EDX account. The only thing that I need to do here, click here to link it with an EDX account. Okay, so when I click here, it's going to take me to EDX. Sign with a username and password. I already signed in. I just need to allow. That's it. And everything is going to be smooth now. Okay, so back to the home page. Okay, so here, CS50x 2021. This will open my gradebook. And again, as you know, I'm still brand new, so the gradebook is empty, as you can see. When you start submitting, your scores and your submissions are going to appear here. And whenever you finish each week, it's going to turn into green. So finish week 0, it will turn green. Finish week 1, it will turn green, and so forth. Okay. So these were the mandatory requirements. Okay, these are you have to do all of these before we get into the course. Some of these requirements you are told on the course website to do. They delayed the information until you are ready to submit Scratch, but I prefer that you do this, you get it over with before you start studying the course. Okay, make sure that all accounts are working, all accounts are activated. So when the time comes for submission for week 0, everything is already set, and I just submit and celebrate. Okay. After that, we need to discuss some optional, the last thing that we will discuss today, some optional requirements. So optionally, completely up to you, have Microsoft Teams. So why do you need Microsoft Teams? I told you, CS50 by Ahmed Said include live lectures. I do deliver live lectures using Microsoft Teams. So if you would like to take advantage of these live lectures, attend with me, ask questions and this kind of stuff live, you will have to install, if you don't have already, Microsoft Teams, and you need to have a Microsoft Teams account. Both are free. That's one thing. And maybe later I can have another video telling you how, if you're not familiar with Microsoft Teams, I will make a short video about Microsoft Teams maybe later. Optionally also, you may join CS50 by Ahmed Said through an invitation link. Okay, so moments ago, we just used an invitation link by Harvard, the one that we, after we clicked, it says authorize CS50 and this kind of stuff, right? Actually, as I told you, I have my own invitation link because I have access to to the exact same tool that you're using to grade. I have access to the same tool. So there is an invitation link generated for me as well. And I will put that link in the description. If, again, you would like me to have access to your submissions for any reason, you will have to click my own link as well, because the first link that we clicked moments ago from the Harvard website, this was to give the Harvard team access, but I need access as well. So I have access to the tool, yes, but I need access to your submission. So you click the link and it will give me access to the same exact folder. You don't need to create any other folder. You don't need to submit again or anything. No, it's just you will submit only once. And this only one submission I can have access to, like Harvard can have, the Harvard team, the Harvard CS50 team can have access to. Again, that's optional. Feel free. You want to do it, okay. You don't want to do it, no problem at all. Again, optionally, you can join the CS50 group, Facebook group, and the CS50 by Ahmed Said Facebook group. So if you'd like to follow up with the news whenever we upload a new video, or if you would like to attend the live lectures, I put the link to Teams on my CS50 by Ahmed Said group. So if you would like to join these two groups, the main group by Harvard and my group, that's also an option to you. Now, what's the difference? But some people say, why do you have a separate Facebook group? I have a separate Facebook group because I put the news that are related to my course only. If I put these news on the very, very big group, enormous group for CS50, it may be lost. But people who are studying CS50 by Ahmed Said, they like to be in that smaller community. So this is why I have a special group that's called CS50 by Ahmed Said, and it's dedicated only to CS50. You're not going to find any posts that are irrelevant or this kind of stuff. It's purely CS50. Again, it's optional, completely up to you. Also, you can follow David, follow me on Facebook. Now, David, he puts some information about CS50. One of the very useful things that you can get from David by following David is that he's going to announce the live lectures, opening live lectures to the public. So if you would like to attend live lectures with David when he's delivering at Harvard, maybe you should follow David, right? Because he will announce these things. He will announce on his profile, he will announce on the group, the CS50 group. There's also the CS50 page. I didn't mention the page here because the page is just a page. The group is more powerful. It has Q&A. There are a lot of interaction, but there's also the CS50 page. But anyway, you can follow David. You can follow me for CS unrelated things that are unrelated to CS50. So I'm not only teaching CS50, I'm also teaching other stuff. I upload some other videos related to computer science, like virtualization, cloud, cybersecurity, hacking, and this kind of stuff. And as I told you, I do not post these kind of stuff in the CS50 by Ahmad Said group because that's dedicated only to CS50. So if you are interested in other things related to computer science, maybe you can follow me on Facebook as well. Subscription to the CS50 channel, YouTube channel. Actually, that's important. I'm putting here under the optionally under optional requirements, but actually that's useful. So subscribe to the channel so you can see, you can get notified when they upload any new video. They upload lots of new videos, and the same applies to my channel as well. My channel is not a profit. You are never going to see an advertisement on my channel. Okay, it's not. I'm not gaining any money out of the channel. So you subscribe to the channel, you will never see an ad or anything. But again, if you're studying CS50 by Ahmed Said, this is actually not very optional because you will want to be notified if I upload a video or make change to the video or make change to the playlist or this kind of stuff. So I recommend that you subscribe to both channels on YouTube. You remember all the communities that we've seen from the Harvard CS50 official website? Maybe you can consider joining other communities as well, like Discord, Clubhouse, this kind of stuff. So feel free to join any of these communities as well. That's it. So this is everything that I wanted to say as a course introduction, including the process to join. So please follow these instructions, and I am looking forward to seeing you in the next video. This was CS50 by Ahmed Said. Thank you very much. Bye bye.